Jai Hind everyone. Myself Dr. Vandana Sharma from Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. The subject which I am taking, that subject is Engineering Physics, and the subject code is KAS 101T. And the topic which I have started, name of the topic is Relativistic Mechanics. And in relativistic mechanics, we are going to cover all these topics. So already I have taken one lecture of relativistic mechanics, and in that lecture I have already covered frame of references. Just give me 1 minute. I have already covered this topic, that is frame of references, and under this frame of references I have discussed inertial and non-inertial frames. So first you have to understand what is the meaning of a frame of reference. Just give me 1 minute. So frame of reference means a set of coordinate axes with respect to which you will define the position as well as motion of an object. That is known as frame of reference. And two type of frame of references we have already discussed in our previous lecture, that is inertial frame and non-inertial frames. Inertial frames, they are known as unaccelerated frames because they are not having any acceleration, zero acceleration. And the second type of frames are non-inertial, which are also known as accelerated frames. So we have already discussed inertial as well as non-inertial frames. Then I have started this topic, that is Galilean transformation equations, and I have already derived those Galilean transformations. So a quick review of that Galilean transformation equations here. We have already covered this frame, inertial and non-inertial frames, and we have already discussed the differences between inertial and non-inertial frames, and examples of inertial and non-inertial frames we have already covered in our last lecture. And then I have started this Galilean transformation. So what I have told you in my previous lecture, that whenever an object is moving, then the motion of that object, that is described under the heading or that branch which is going to describe the motion of an object, that is known as mechanics. And in general form, depending upon the velocity of a particle, you can divide mechanics as classical mechanics, and the second one relativistic mechanics. So either you are having moving objects under that classical mechanics, which is also known as Newtonian mechanics, or you will describe the motion of objects under relativistic mechanics. So I have already told you that what is the difference between these two. If the speed of an object, if it is very small with respect to c, then Newtonian mechanics or classical mechanics, that can be used to describe the motion of such moving objects. So that is your classical mechanics. Whereas in relativistic mechanics, when the speed of an object is very large, if it is comparable to c, then you will apply this relativistic mechanics. But the beauty of relativistic mechanics is that it is equally applicable at low speed. Means relativistic mechanics is not only applicable for these particles which are moving with a very high speed, but they are equally applicable when the speed of particle is very small with respect to c. So we can say that classical mechanics is a special case of relativistic mechanics that we have already discussed. And after this, in Galilean equations, basically there are two frames, two inertial frames, S and S dash. This frame S, this one is at rest, and S dash, the second frame, initially it is also at rest. Means when t is t dash is equal to 0, then at that time both the frames are coinciding with each other. Now S will remain in the same state, but S dash, that will start moving along this direction with a constant speed which is very small with respect to c. So since S dash is moving with a constant velocity with respect to S, so both S and S dash both are inertial frames. Now we are going to describe a particular event with the help of S as well as S dash. So there will be two different set of coordinates. With respect to S, you will have a particular set of coordinates, that is x, y, z and t. And for another frame, that is for S dash frame, you have a different set of coordinates, that is x dash, y dash, z dash and t dash. So basically the equations which will correlate x dash with x, equation which will correlate y dash with y, equation which will correlate z dash with z, and equation which will correlate t dash with t. Those equations are termed as Galilean transformations, or you can say Galilean transformation equations. So from this from this particular diagram, this particular length is x dash, this one is x, this is x dash, and this particular displacement is Vt or Vt dash. We have already discussed in our previous lecture. This is either Vt or Vt dash, because this displacement is after time t with respect to frame S, and this displacement is after time t dash with respect to S dash. So either it can be written Vt or it can be written as Vt dash. So this x dash is actually x minus Vt. So here you have x dash as x minus Vt. Y dash, this particular distance is y dash as well as y. So you can write y dash as y. And along z axis, since no movement of this frame S dash along z axis, you can write z dash as z. And this t dash is t. So these four equations, that is equation number 1, 2, 3 and 4, these equations are Galilean transformation equations. We have already discussed, we have already derived these equations in our previous lecture. Now I am going to derive today velocity transformation. Means if x dash is x minus Vt, y dash is y, z dash is z, t dash is t, then what are the velocity transformations, right? Means you have to correlate the velocity component along x axis in S frame with the velocity component in frame S dash. Means you have to correlate Vx dash with Vx, Vy dash is Vy with Vy, and Vz dash with Vz. Similarly, after that you will derive acceleration transformation. Means you will correlate the acceleration along x-axis in frame S dash with the acceleration in frame S, Ay dash with Ay, Az dash with Az. So that we will do in our subsequent topic. So first we will derive these velocity transformations, right? So in order to derive these velocity transformation, what you will do? You have x dash as x minus Vt, right? So and you have t dash as t. So first we will differentiate equation number 1 as well as equation number 3 with respect to t. Here you have, we are differentiating this equation, that is x dash equal to x minus Vt with respect to t, and this t dash equal to t, again differentiate it with respect to t. So if you will differentiate it with respect to t, what you will get? Dt dash upon dt is 1. It means you can write dt dash is dt. So after differentiating equation number 4, you are getting this relationship, dt dash is dt, and your first equation is x dash equal to x minus Vt. If you will differentiate this with respect to t, what you are going to get? Dx dash upon dt equals to dx upon dt minus v is constant, that will remain as it is, derivative of t with respect to t, that is 1. So what, and you also know that this dt is dt dash, so you can replace this dt with dt dash. Now what is this? This is the velocity component along x-axis with respect to S dash frame, and you can write that as Vx dash. So we are replacing this particular term with Vx dash, and this particular dx by dt, this term is the velocity component along x-axis with respect to frame S. So we are substituting it as Vx. So finally what you are getting? You are getting this. Sorry, you are getting Vx dash is equal to Vx minus V. So the transformation equation for velocity along x-axis means you are getting Vx dash is equal to Vx minus V. This is known as velocity transformation along x-axis. So that is your equation number 5. Is it clear? What you have done? You have differentiated your equation number 1. What was that equation number 1? That was your first Galilean equation. You have differentiated that equation with respect to t, and you have also differentiated that equation number 4, t dash equal to t, with respect to t. So you are getting dt dash as dt. You can always replace dt with dt dash or dt dash with dt. And after differentiating x dash equal to x minus vt, we are reaching at this particular conclusion. So as you can see here, this is the velocity component along x-axis with respect to frame S, and this is the velocity component along x-axis with respect to frame S dash. It means you have converted Vx in terms of Vx dash. So it is known as velocity transformation. Now similarly, we will derive the velocity transformation along y-axis. For that, what you have to do? Your transformation along y-axis is y dash is y. Simply differentiate this equation with respect to t. What you will get here? You will get dy dash upon dt. You are differentiating with respect to t here. Dy dash upon dt is dy upon dt. And you know this dt can always be replaced with dt dash. So now what is this term? This is your velocity component along y-axis with respect to frame S dash. So I am replacing it with Vy dash. And what is the term on right hand side? This is the velocity component along y-axis with respect to frame S. Means here you have velocity component in frame S, and this is the velocity component in frame S dash. And you can get this, you can see the similar equation, that is equation number 6. And how you are getting that equation? Just by differentiating that equation with respect to t. So you are having this second velocity transformation equation along y-axis. Now similarly for z coordinate, what you have to do? You have to follow the similar procedure. What is that? You have third transformation equation, z dash as z. So just differentiate this with respect to t. So dz dash upon dt is equal to dz upon dt. Is it right? And now what you have to do? You have to simply replace this dt with dt dash. And you know what is this? This is your velocity component along z-axis with respect to S dash. So we are writing it as Vz dash. And what is this? This is the velocity component along z-axis with respect to frame S. So I am writing it as Vz. So you can see the similar equation as equation number 7. So what is equation number 7? It is velocity transformation along z-axis. What is equation number 6? That is the velocity transformation along y-axis. And what is equation number 5? That is your velocity transformation along x-axis. So I hope now these equations are clear. Initially what we have done, we have derived the transformation equation for all the 3 position coordinates as well as time coordinate, and that set of 4 equations, those equations are your Galilean transformation equations. Now just differentiate those equations with respect to t, you will get these 3 equations. So these 3 equations are termed as velocity transformation equations, right? So you have equation number 5, equation number 6 and equation number 7, and all these equations are known as velocity transformation. These are transformation equations for velocities, right? Now next one is we have to derive acceleration transformation. So in order to derive acceleration transformation equations, what you will do? Again the same process. You have ux dash, sorry, not ux dash, it is you have Vx dash as Vx minus V. This is your equation number 5. Now differentiate this equation with respect to t. Just differentiate it, because then that component will give you acceleration. So differentiate it with respect to t. So you are getting here dvx dash upon dt is equal to dvx upon dt And what will be next term? Minus, since this is constant velocity with which s dash is moving, and you know the derivative of constant is 0. It means this term, when differentiated with respect to time, it will give you 0. Only these two terms will survive, and dt can be replaced with dt dash. So what will be this term? What is this? This is acceleration. It is acceleration along x-axis, and it is with respect to s dash. So we can replace it with ax dash. So this term on left hand side is your ax dash. And what is this? This is your acceleration. It is acceleration along x-axis, but with respect to frame s. So you are getting your equation number 8. How you are getting this equation? Just by differentiating equation number 5 with respect to t, you are getting ax dash as ax, right? Now we will derive your second equation, that is acceleration transformation along y-axis. For this, what you will do? You have that vy dash is equal to vy. So just differentiate it with respect to t. So if you will differentiate it, what you will get? You will get here dy dash. So now you will get dy dash upon dt is equal to dy upon dt. And you know you can replace dt with dt dash. So what will be this term? This is your acceleration component along y-axis with respect to s dash. So you can replace it with ay dash. So you are getting ay dash. And this is acceleration component along y-axis with respect to s. So we will replace it with ay. So you are getting your equation number 9, right? How you are getting equation number 9? Just by differentiating equation number 6 with respect to t. And now the transformation along z-axis. For this, what you have to do? You have to use your third equation, third velocity transformation. What is that? That is your vz dash equal to vz. Simply differentiate it, and you have to differentiate with respect to t. So when you are differentiating with respect to t, you are getting dyz dash dvz dash upon dt equals to dvz upon dt. And you know you can always replace dt with dt dash. So what is this component on left hand side? This is your acceleration component along z-axis in frame s dash. So you can write it as az dash. And what is this term? This one is acceleration component, and it is along z-axis, and it is with respect to frame s. So it is az. So you are getting your equation number 10. So now you have three equations. Equation number 10, that is acceleration transformation along x-axis. Equation number 9, that is your acceleration transformation along y-axis. Equation number, so these are acceleration transformations along x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. I hope the derivation is clear that how you are getting these equations. Just by differentiating velocity transformations with respect to t, you are getting these three acceleration transformation equations. So as you can see here, it is written over here that 8, 9 and 10, these are acceleration transformations. And one more point you can see here, that there is no change in acceleration even along direction of motion. What is the direction of motion? As you know that your s dash frame, that is moving with the constant velocity with respect to s frame along x-axis. It means x-axis is the direction of motion. What you can see here, even along direction of motion, there is no change in acceleration. Means acceleration is having same form in both the inertial frames. So you can conclude from 8, 9 and 10 that acceleration is invariant under Galilean transformation equations. Means acceleration is not a factor under these Galilean transformation equations. I hope this is clear. So what is your first point? First, you have to correlate the coordinates of one inertial frame with the coordinates of other inertial frame, and the equations which will correlate those coordinates, those equations are your Galilean transformation equations. After this, just by differentiating those equations with respect to time, you will get three equations, and those equations are your velocity transformation. After that, Again, by differentiating those velocity transformations with respect to t, you will get acceleration transformation. So now you are having those three sets, one for position coordinates and time, known as Galilean transformation, second one velocity transformation, and the third one is acceleration transformation. So I can conclude all those equations like this: x dash is equal to x minus vt, and your y dash is y, and your z dash is z, and your t dash is t. What are these equations? These are your Galilean transformation equations, right? Then your velocity transformations, vx dash is equal to vx minus v. Your component along y-axis, the velocity component along y-axis, sorry, vy dash is vy. Just ignore this one, just ignore this. Then vz dash is vz. What are these? These are your velocity transformation along x, y and z axis. As you can see here, there is a change in position coordinate only along direction of motion. There is a change in velocity component only along direction of motion. And about acceleration, you have ax dash as ax, you have ay dash as ay, and you have az dash as az. It means acceleration is invariant, that is having same form along all the three directions. So acceleration is invariant under Galilean transformation equations. I hope these three sets are clear. These are Galilean equations, these are velocity transformations, and these are acceleration transformation equations. Clear? Now I have one question for you. If you want to write inverse equations, inverse means we have converted the coordinates of S frame in terms of coordinates of S dash frame. Means you were writing x dash equal to x minus vt. Means x dash was written in terms of x, y dash was written in terms of y, z dash was written in terms of z, t dash was written in terms of t. If you want to write x in terms of x dash, y in terms of y dash, z in terms of z dash, then what will be those equations? So those equations will be x will be x dash plus vt dash. I hope this is clear. X is x dash plus vt dash, y is y dash, no change in these three, y is equal to y dash, z is equal to z dash, and t is equal to t dash. So this set of four equations, these are known as inverse equations, inverse transformation, right? Similarly, for velocity components, you can write Vx as Vx dash plus V. Following the same procedure, you can derive these equations also. But just to remember that how to write inverse equations, just change the coordinates of S frame into the coordinates of S dash, and the coordinates of S dash in terms of coordinates of S frame, and convert that V into minus V, you will directly get those equations. So Vx is equal to Vx dash plus V, then Vy is equal to Vy dash, no change along these two directions, and the third one is Vz is equal to Vz dash, right? And you know along, for acceleration, no change. So you know Ax is equal to Ax dash, Ay is equal to Ay dash, and Az is equal to Az dash. These are known as inverse equations. These are inverse Galilean transformation equation, and then velocity transformation, then acceleration transformation. Now I hope this particular part is clear, but you have to remember that Galilean equations, these equations are applicable in classical mechanics, because what you have taken in the starting of this derivation, that V is very, very small with respect to C. So these equations, all these equations, direct as well as inverse equations, all are applicable only if V is very, very small with respect to C, right? Now I am taking this question based upon Galilean equations. So the question is, prove that distance between 2 points. So what we are taking here, distance, and that is the distance between 2 points in two inertial frames is invariant under Galilean transformation equations. What you have to prove here, that the distance between 2 points is invariant under Galilean transformation equations, right? So, what I am doing here, I am taking two inertial frames here. Let this is your frame S, right? And observer O is sitting in this particular frame. And there is second observer, or you can say second frame, and that particular frame is S dash, and this frame is moving with the constant velocity along x-axis, and that v is very, very small with respect to c, right? So when you have this particular case, then this is a case of classical mechanics, and in classical mechanics you know which type of equations are applicable. Your Galilean transformation equations can correlate the coordinates of one inertial frame with the coordinates of other inertial frame, right? Now what I am doing, I am taking 2 points here. This is your first point and this is your second point. Clear? This point is A and let the second point is B. Let the coordinates of A with respect to S, means with respect to S, the coordinates of first point, let the coordinates are x1, y1 and z1. Because we are finding a derivation for distance, so no need of time coordinate here. So I am just mentioning the position coordinates. And let the coordinates of second point with respect to same frame S, let the coordinates are x2, y2 and z2. So what are these? These are the coordinates of first point, that is x1, y1 and z1, and the coordinates of second point, those coordinates are x2, y2 and z2. Now tell me, if the coordinates of A and B are known, then for observer O, who is sitting in the frame S, for that coordinate, for that frame, for that observer, these are the coordinates of A and B. So what will be the distance between these two? For observer O, for which you know what are the coordinates, what will be the distance between A and B? You know the formula of distance. Distance with respect to this frame S, that distance will be x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square. So what is this? This is the distance between A and B, and this distance is applicable with respect to frame S. Okay. Now you have another observer. That observer is O dash and that observer is sitting in frame S dash. Now when this observer O dash will observe A and B, then that observer will observe some different coordinates for A and B, because the point of observation is now different, right? Let the coordinates with respect to S dash, these were the coordinates with respect to S. Now I am defining the coordinates with respect to S dash. Let the coordinates of point A, that is your first point, sorry, let the coordinates are x1 dash, y1 dash and z1 dash, and the coordinates of second point with respect to same observer, let the coordinates are x2 dash, y2 dash and z2 dash. So now for this observer, this coordinate is x1 dash, this is y1 dash, this is z1 dash, this is x2 dash, y2 dash, z2 dash. So for S dash, what will be the distance? Again same formula. Distance will be, for observer S dash, distance is d dash and it is x2 dash minus x1 dash whole square plus y2 dash minus y1 dash whole square plus z2 dash minus z1 dash whole square. I hope up to this point everything is clear. Let this is your equation number 2. You have two frames, two inertial frames S and S dash. S is at rest, S dash is moving. Now there are 2 points and both the observers, both the frames, they are measuring the distance between A and B. For first observer, the distance between A and B is D, which is equal to this equation number 1. And for observer O dash, you have a different set of coordinates, so the distance is different for observer O dash or frame S dash. Now you have to prove that invariance means, if you can prove that D is equal to D dash, means the distance with respect to S as well as distance with respect to S dash, if both the distances are equal, then only then you can say that distance is invariant under Galilean transformation equation, right? So how you will apply Galilean equations here? Since this S is at rest and S dash is moving with this constant velocity, you can write the value of x1 dash in terms of x1. You can write the value of x2 dash in terms of x2. You can write the value of y1 dash in terms of y1. You can write the value of y2 dash in terms of y2. You can write the value of z1 dash in terms of z1 and z2 dash in terms of z2. So after substituting all those values using Galilean equations, we have to prove that d dash is equal to d or d is equal to d dash. If this will be the case, only then you can say distance is invariant. So now we are going to apply those Galilean equations here. I hope up to here everything is clear. So now tell me, what will be the value of x1 dash in terms of x1? So just remember your Galilean equations. x1 dash will be x1 minus vt. What will be your x2 dash? Because x-axis is the direction of motion, so x2 dash will be x2 minus vt, right? These are Galilean transformation equations. What will be the value of y1 dash? y1 dash will be y1. What will be the value of y2 dash? It will be y2, because there is no motion along y-axis, right? Now again, no motion along z-axis for that frame S dash. So z1 dash is z1 and z2 dash is z2. So according to Galilean equations, you are getting these six terms. x1 dash in terms of x1, you are getting y1 dash in terms of y1, z1 dash in terms of z1, x2 dash in terms of x2, y2 dash in terms of y2 and z2 dash in terms of z2. So what is the value of d dash? We have already mentioned in equation number 2 there. D dash is x2 dash minus x1 dash whole square plus y2 dash minus y1 dash whole square plus z2 dash minus z1 dash whole square. Now substitute the value of x2 dash from here, x1 dash from here, y2 dash from this equation, y1 dash from here, z2 dash from here and z1 dash from here. Means you have to convert these coordinates of S dash frame in terms of coordinates of S frame. So what you will get here? What is the value of x2 dash? It is your x2 minus vt. What is your x1 dash? It is x1 minus vt. So it is x1 plus vt, because minus is already there, right? Plus, what is the value of y2 dash and y1 dash? You will substitute y2 dash as y2 and y1 dash as y1. You will get this. What about z2 dash? It is z2 and z1 dash is z1. So you are getting z2 minus z1 whole square, right? So this will get cancelled out, and what you will get now? You will get here d dash is equal to x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square, right? And from equation number 1, what is this? Just refer to your equation number 1. This is your d. Now what is the conclusion? The conclusion is d dash is exactly equal to d. What is d dash? d dash is the distance between those 2 points A and B with respect to S dash. And what is d? That is the distance between same 2 points but with respect to frame S. Means this distance is the distance between those 2 points with respect to S dash, and this is the distance between the same 2 points with respect to S. So the distance is invariant, that will not change because of the motion of frame S dash. So the conclusion is distance is invariant under Galilean transformation equations, right? So here I have taken only one direction of motion. If your S dash is moving along all the 3 directions, if it is having component along all the 3 directions, even then you will finally get the same result, means d dash will be exactly equal to d, right? So this is this question was related to your Galilean transformation equations. Now this is our next topic, which is ether hypothesis. So let me explain this first. As I am saying, and you are able to listen, the reason is the sound waves which are propagating between you and me. For the propagation of those sound waves, a medium is required. So there is air between you and me. If there is air between you and me, only then these sound wave can propagate. Means for the propagation of these sound waves, a medium is required, right? So it was assumed at the beginning of 19th century that since our universe that is filled with different type of radiations, electromagnetic radiations, and all these radiations, they always require a medium for propagation. So it was assumed that our universe is filled with a medium. There is a hypothetical medium which is known as ether, that is ETHER, or ether, AETHER. So you can use any of these two notations. So it was assumed that universe is filled with this hypothetical medium, and that medium is present everywhere. And the beauty of that medium is that each and every object of this universe, lighter as well as heavier, all these objects, they can move freely in this medium. This medium is providing no resistance, that is having no resistance for the movement of all these objects of the universe. So it was assumed that universe is filled with a hypothetical medium which is rigid, massless, and perfectly non-resistive, right? And since each and every object that can move freely in this medium, so we can assume that this medium is at absolute rest. Means if you want to describe the motion of any object of this universe, you can describe with the help of this ether, or you can say that ether is a ether frame of reference, or rest frame of reference, or an absolute frame of reference, because the motion of any object of this universe that can be described with respect to that hypothetical medium known as ether. So ether is a hypothetical medium for transmitting light and heat, filling all unoccupied space. It is also called luminiferous ether, right? In Newtonian physics, all waves are propagated through medium. For the propagation of all type of radiations, all electromagnetic wave, a medium is required. So propagated through a medium, for example, water wave through water, sound wave through air. So all these, they require a medium for propagation. So James Clerk Maxwell developed his electromagnetic theory of light. Newtonian physicians postulated ether as a medium that transmitted electromagnetic wave. Ether was held to be invisible, without order, and of such a nature that it did not interfere with the motion of bodies through space. So I have already mentioned that this medium is not providing any resistance for the movement of all the objects of this universe. Means all the objects of the universe, lighter as well as heavier, they are moving freely in this ether medium, right? So this was totally an assumption that This was totally a hypothetical concept that universe is filled with such type of medium, right? So since it was a hypothesis that universe is filled with a hypothetical medium known as ether, so many experiments were performed to prove the existence of ether medium. So many scientists, they tried to prove that there is a medium like ether medium, and any object can move freely in that medium. So the well-known experiment, the most famous experiment out of all those experiments, was Michelson-Morley experiment. So Michelson and Morley, they tried to prove the existence of ether, and they tried to prove the existence of ether by finding the relative velocity of earth with respect to ether. Means they tried to prove that if there is any relative motion between earth and ether, it means there is a medium like ether medium, and if there is no relative motion between earth and ether, then the conclusion is there is no medium like ether medium. So after this, the next topic which I am going to take in next lecture, that topic is Michelson-Morley experiment. So I hope now it is clear that what was the objective of that experiment. Objective was to prove the existence of this ether medium, this ether frame of reference, by finding relative velocity of earth with respect to ether. That's all for today. Thank you so much.